Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome Khalifa and all the other attendees at this webinar, which is called The First Step Towards AI with Your Business. Our whole objective is to give you all a clear understanding of how to use AI in your business, how to effectively and sustainably use AI for your business. Therefore, I invited Khalifa to this webinar because he has a lot of practical experience in the MENA area. And so I think let's get started. Let me introduce myself. I was born in Hamburg, living there for almost over a decade. Then I was living in Prague, living in Vienna for 15 years, and also living in Dubai and working in Dubai since last May 2022. I started out my career in retail, in grocery retail. Then I switched to sales. And since 2017, I was heavily involved in web development and also in back-end development. And since almost 2 years now, I'm into AI, specifically practical machine learning applications. And since, let's say, the beginning of the year, I'm really focusing on generating proper sustainable value with AI-powered solutions for small and medium-sized businesses in Europe, and with my partner, Khalifa, also in the Middle East. Khalifa, would you mind just introducing yourself?
Absolutely. Firstly, Alexander, thank you for having me on the webinar. Pleasure to be here. And I'm originally from Finland. My background is in product design, product development, from basically working with digital products for the past 13, 14 years. After that, I did some consulting, started a company of my own, which expanded to Dubai. That's how I ended up here. I've been here in Dubai for the past 4.5 years. Around 3 years, I was working with venture funds, helping startups that they've invested money into building better products, finding growth. And then as I was doing that, it seemed to me like all roads led to data science and machine learning. And I found that this seems to be the most impactful way of helping companies build exceptional products, build magical experiences, and basically achieve growth. And well, that's what led me to founding Shaper. We're based here in Dubai. We operate in the Middle East. And yeah, what we do is we apply AI, machine learning, data science to build what we call magical AI experiences, find efficiencies, and basically help our clients grow and operate successful companies. And super happy to be here. Love the topic. Alexander, back to you.
Okay, let's talk about why Khalifa has written on his homepage how to gain an unfair competitive advantage. We will show you in this presentation how we are doing this. So what you can expect from this webinar is that you will gain practical insights to integrating AI into your business.
Sorry, Alexander.
You will have a clear... Yes.
I'm still seeing the second slide that you, in case you changed it.
The second slide?
Yeah.
Okay, let me check it. Can you see the next slide now?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay. You can expect to gain practical insights into integrating AI into your business. So we don't want to have a superficial conversation. We want to give you proper information on how to use AI-powered solutions in order to gain, and how Khalifa phrases this, an unfair advantage in your competition. How to navigate the AI landscape with confidence, because there are a lot of companies who are offering AI as a service solutions, no-code solutions, and everyone claims themselves to be an AI company, and learn how to set proper steps for immediate implementations and fast, small successes. Do you want to add something, Khalifa?
No, well, okay. One point that I mentioned earlier is that I think everyone who's watching this will try to keep in mind that whenever we use examples, we try to kind of highlight to which kind of companies these are most valuable, impactful. So kind of as you're going through this, I would recommend to kind of, even if you have some note-taking stuff, write down things that could be applicable to your company, because just like Alex said, AI can be used in 100 different ways, which could be impactful, but you have to know which one of them can be helpful for your type of business. So kind of try to pick up good examples that apply to your use cases.
Exactly. Thank you, Khalifa, for your comments. So let's start with the first section. We have 4 of them. We have 4 sessions, and the first one is all about understanding the basics, the fundament, understanding AI for small and medium-sized enterprises. And the first question, of course, is what is AI and what it isn't, right? So a lot of people are connecting AI directly with ChatGPT. A lot of people are connecting AI directly with Midjourney. And for them, AI is all about generating fancy pictures or generating text. But of course, it's way more than that. Let's talk about numbers. Let's talk about years. A lot of people think that AI is like a new invention that just popped up and has never been around. That's not the case. Mr. John McCarthy, who was basically the founding father of the modern term artificial intelligence, in 1955 coined this term with some other colleagues at Dartmouth College. And you see it's, almost 70 years. 70 years have already passed, and the artificial intelligence industry has lived through a lot of winters and summers. And right now we are experiencing a huge summer, but we will go into more detail on this topic later. So he mentioned, the founding father of AI, the objective of artificial intelligence is to develop machines that behave as if they are intelligent, So kind of implicates that they are not intelligent, right? So, and Mrs. Elaine Rich, also a very important person in the area of AI research, mentioned that artificial intelligence is the study of how to make computers do things at which, at the moment, people are better. So already even mentioning again that computers are not as intelligent as human beings. And myself, I just say all the time, AI is the ability to do something that seems smart, because everyone is connecting AI to magic, to some glorious way to solve problems which cannot be figured out how it's even done. And that's why I said that seems to be smart. Khalifa, do you want to add your own definition to this slide?
No, I think you defined it really well.
Okay.
Just to mention, you mentioned these AI winters, and funnily, we had like these neural networks that we're using today were kind of invented, but not much after 55. It's just that we didn't have enough computer power to have enough layers. So we kind of, researchers back then were like, okay, let's abandon this. It didn't work. And then 40 years later, we were like, hey, let's try it again. Now we have enough compute. And all of a sudden, it's creating a lot of benefits. So yeah, but I think you defined it really well.
Perfect. So what a lot of people don't know is that AI is basically the fusion of many fields of study. Okay, you have in there computer science and electrical engineering. These 2 parts determine how AI is implemented in software and hardware. We all know NVIDIA. NVIDIA really benefited a lot from the new AI summer, because all the GPUs at Microsoft and Meta were ordered from NVIDIA. That's why the stock price actually spiked up to over $400, right? Then we have, of course, mathematics and statistics. All the nice algorithms that you find on the platforms are mathematics. Then you have linguistics and psychology. And here it's all about, you could basically link this to NLP, right? Natural language processing. One word is roughly 0.75 tokens, as far as I'm concerned. And then you have philosophy, and here it's all about ethical AI, what we are talking about a lot when we mention biased data, biased models, right? What is a biased model? A biased model is, let's say, a large language model, let's say ChatGPT, which has a certain opinion about a topic because of the data it was trained on, right? So you type in, let's give a very easy example, who is the best football player? And the model says, of course, Lionel Messi. But that's not an objective fact. It's like an emotional answer. It's because of biased data. Or when it comes to racism, it's a really big problem. And this is everything ethical AI is talking about, right? And do you want to add something to this, Khalifa?
No, not really.
Okay, great. Should be a superficial overview. So what is the goal of AI? The goal of AI is to develop intelligent systems that can perform especially repetitive tasks that normally require human intelligence. And that is what AI is like in the majority of application used for right now, for heavily repetitive tasks, to simulate human thought and behavior and surpass it even in some aspects, to improve efficiency, productivity, and quality of life. When we're talking about efficiency and productivity, we're talking about automating workflows in companies. When we're talking about quality of life, you could have a look at AI in healthcare, right? Personal healthcare, very personal recommendations, automatic recommendations for medications, for alternative treatment for your sickness, or based on your blood type, based on your DNA, based on other factors. So as Khalifa mentioned it in the beginning, there are like more use cases for artificial intelligence that we can even imagine. And the last thing is apply AI to various industries. I just mentioned one of the industry, healthcare, and really get a proper sustainable advantage out of this technology for humanity. I would say, in my personal opinion and experience, these are the four main goals of AI. Okay, improve the quality of life for us private persons, and improve the efficiency of business all over the world. And let's go to the next slide. What is AI and what is AI not, right? So I marked some of the terms in green and some of the terms in red. Everyone can understand the terms in red are what is AI not, and what is in green is what is AI. And you have here the AI terminology, basically, and then some business terms. And a lot of people think AI will replace human replacement. AI will replace people and will eradicate jobs. And this is half of the truth, right? AI will eradicate a lot of jobs, but AI will also create a lot of jobs. We have a lot of studies by McKinsey that, for instance, 600 million jobs will be eradicated, but 585 million jobs will be created by AI. And
we had a very
also
similar thing. Sorry to interrupt, but we had, when ATMs came back in the 80s, there was this phenomenon where everybody who's working in banks were super scared that, oh my God, we're going to lose our job because these machines just came and are starting to give out cash.
Yeah.
But what actually happened, because ATMs, they made banking so much more convenient, that the last people who were not banked yet, who were still, saving cash in a safety deposit box or something like this, started using banks, because it was, imagine how transformative it is that now you can have your money wherever you are from a wall. So banking became much bigger, a lot more branches were open, and today there's a lot more people working in banks than there were in early 80s. And I think a very similar thing will happen with AI, exactly like you said.
Yeah.
Like there are some type of jobs that these can replace, but at the same time, there's almost an equal amount of jobs that they will create. And I bet that the jobs that it will create will be more meaningful jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'm seeing something, especially in startups, on Series A, Series B. What I'm seeing is they're kind of, let's say, their business is growing 30% per year, and traditionally, your headcount would grow maybe then 15-20% a year, something like this. Now, because with these tools, productivity increases, even though revenue increases, they don't have to increase the headcount as much because the people they have are becoming more productive. So yeah, very kind of positive effects.
Thank you for mentioning this. One thing which is pretty clear is also that a lot of people think that AI is guaranteed success, right? So as soon as AI is mentioned in the solution, the success is guaranteed. That's of course not the case. There are a lot of factors that are also related to AI success. We are going to talk about this in the next slides, of course. But what AI is for sure, and a lot of people talking about this superficially, is AI helps you to make better decisions, okay? Because you will get insights with AI-powered solutions that you wouldn't have seen before with your own naked eyes, let's say it like this. And this really gives you an unfair competitive advantage, okay? So we don't have to fear that AI will eradicate all our jobs. We don't have to fear that we have general intelligence in the next years and AI will wipe out humanity. But we should take advantage of this awesome technology in order to streamline our processes and reduce cost, right? In order to automate tasks, in order to make better decisions. And we don't need to concentrate or funnel our energy on these general opinions that AI will replace us, and AI will have complete autonomy, and AI has emotional understanding and so on. This is fortunately not the case. What I also have to mention is that AI is not a one-size-fits-all solution. It's a very custom topic. So whatever company I'm going to, right? It's always a very different use case. Everyone has its own story, and we will come to that in the next slides too. But it's very rare that you just visit the website. It has an AI as service solution, and it fits you directly, and all your problems are solved. Okay, it often takes a one-to-one conversation to find out what is your business doing, what are your objectives, okay? And then you set a clear process and work on your small problems and solve them with AI, and then in an iterative process, work on more and more challenges that you're dealing with in your business. Would you like to add something to this, Khalifa, because you've also worked with a lot of companies in MENA?
Yeah, I really do agree with you fully what you said, and we'll talk about that in the later parts quite a bit. But it is AI is a transformative power, but you have to figure out how to apply it to yourself is the key. And we'll talk about kind of in detail how you can figure out what's the best way to use this power to yourself.
Great. So now let's talk about the million-dollar question: why AI matters for small and medium-sized enterprise? Why AI matters for small and medium-sized companies all over the world? Okay, it doesn't matter if it's in Germany, Austria, Switzerland, or in the Middle East or in Asia. I deliberately picked these statistics, market statistics. I also mentioned the source here. Gartner mentioned that 64% of SMEs plan to deploy AI solutions in the next 2 years. This is from 2022. Markets and Markets says that the global AI market for SMEs is projected to grow from 2.2 billion to 13.4 billion in 2025. So we have 2 more years to take all the money on the market. And IBM said in a study that SMEs that use AI, and this is, I think this should trigger you right now, SMEs that use AI are more likely to experience revenue growth than those that do not use AI. And here, my personal opinion is we are in the same situation as we have been before when the internet came, right? When the internet came, the internet was something very new. We are in the same situation right now with AI. If you're using AI, you really have a competitive advantage. Why? Because you're saving just a lot of time. This is the number 1 factor, a lot of time, because you slim down your task to the minimum and you let the algorithm or the automation workflow do the work for you. So you can use your human labor, basically, your colleagues, for more important tasks in your company. Some statistics.
I would also say that I think this transformation is even more impactful than the internet, because there's the difference is that when internet came, we didn't all have devices that we could use internet with. We didn't have, every home didn't have a computer. Now we all have, like, AI is accessible to all of us. So that I think is the reason why this seems to be accelerating much faster than the disruption that came with the internet. So it really is the case that I would honestly say, like, anyone who has an SME or even a larger enterprise, if you're not looking into what you can do with AI right now, you're going to be left behind. Because if you do this 2 years later, you most likely lost the game already. So it really is, and with the internet, it was slightly different because e-commerce and everything came slowly because people just didn't have the means to use it in mass. Whereas now we kind of all have channels to our customers already, and now just by kind of using machine learning and AI, you can automate. You can just make everything faster. You can make better predictions, so you can be more profitable and so on. So it's just that this time around, we can get all the benefits right now, which is kind of it's different from the internet in that sense.
That's true. And I also want to add that people often miss out that they are already customers of worldwide market leaders that are successful because of AI. Are you watching Netflix? Are you subscribed to Netflix? Yes. Okay. Netflix was built on recommendation systems, right? So you are watching a series, and another like similar series or movie is recommended to you. Are you ordering on Amazon? Most likely, right? Amazon also is built on recommendation systems and all those smart and other smart algorithms. Google search, your spam filter in Gmail, right? YouTube also, again, recommendation system. Google Maps, all these market users, all these market leaders, where you are a customer, where you are a user, are using AI. But now AI is democratized, and you have the choice. Am I only a consumer to another company, or will I be the company who's using AI to their own advantage?
Yeah, that's a really good point. And Amazon, for example, we know that 35% of their e-commerce revenue comes from AI-based recommendations. 35%. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, and this same capability, so anyone who has an e-commerce business, if you're not using AI-based recommendations, you're just leaving money on the table.
That's true.
Please continue.
So we are on the same page here. That's great. So let's go over to the misconceptions in business. Okay, we just mentioned it. AI will take our jobs. AI is dangerous for humans. AI is always accurate and unbiased. That's something I also mentioned before. If you have like a public AI application, if you're looking to start an AI as a service that can be subscribed to, you really have to be, especially in the customer service space, you really have to be very cautious what data you're training your solution on, because it really can fire in the wrong way, and then you can basically close your company. We had some incidents. I think it was with Google also, and also with ChatGPT, where some critical questions have been asked, and the answers have been very racist, and that's all because of the data, the text they have been trained on. So it's not because ChatGPT, the whole application is mean, right? Is a bad application, but it's all about the data that has been fed into this application and that the application was trained on. Okay.
There's also another side of the coin for this is a lot of, for example, e-commerce companies use a solution where they train the AI with information of their products, right?
Yeah.
And it's very easy if it's not done right, a user can start to use that AI to ask about your margins and all the other stuff that you don't want them to tell. Of course, there are ways that we can set safe, like guidelines that the AI will not reveal this information. But I see a lot of stuff that you just pick up from the internet, that you train it with your data, and then it will just spill all your data to the customer or your competitors. So be cautious of that.
This actually happened to Chevrolet in the United States. I just saw it on LinkedIn. They trained, they didn't really test the model, right? And then someone was able to buy a Chevrolet through a chatbot for $1. Of course, has been revised, but that's what's happening when you're not doing your homework properly.
Yeah.
So AI is magic. AI will solve all my problems, even if I haven't defined them. And AI will always improve. I don't have to do anything. I can just lie on my couch and everything will move by itself. So this is the point. I always say AI is a mathematical waterfall, okay? You have algorithms behind it and you need data. And if you want to solve a problem, you need a clear definition of what you want. If you cannot define your problem, if you cannot define your objective, AI won't bring you anywhere. Okay, so you have to have a clear understanding. What is your problem? What do you want to achieve with AI? Why should AI be the right solution? Because oftentimes it's not the right solution. I know for somebody maybe that's a shock that AI is not a solution for them, but it can happen. So therefore, you need to understand that AI is based on data, right? Based on algorithms, and you need to have a clear understanding on what you want from this application or from artificial intelligence in general in order to solve your business challenges. And in order to improve ML systems, you need people in the background who are taking care of it. Okay, so there's still a hybrid collaboration between human being and artificial intelligence system. These two work together, and they don't train themselves and they don't improve themselves fully autonomously. So now we come to the hot stuff, the business case of AI, the business case for AI. This is my main formula. Whenever I go into the meeting, I tell the people always the same. Say the formula is domain expertise and AI expertise. If you want to use AI in your business and you need to take someone out of your business who has a deep understanding what your business is dealing with, what your business is struggling with, and what your objectives are. If you have this someone in your company, immediately put him into your AI task force and make sure he's always involved so that the people on the other side who have the AI expertise, internally, externally, can talk to someone who gives them the right objectives so they can build a solution that really serves the long-term business purpose. Okay, exploring real-world applications of AIs. Of AI, the number one real-world application of artificial intelligence in small and medium-sized companies is the automation of routine tasks and processes. Okay, there are a lot of different examples. One example is you are a hotel, you get a lot of reviews, a lot of ratings. You don't want to sit on all the ratings every day and reply to them. It costs a lot of time. So you can reply to them automatically. This is not AI yet, but you can also apply to them individually based on the sentiment of the review of the rating. So you can make sure that every single rating gets replied to automatically, but then now the AI part comes and individually based on what has been written in this review, which saves you a lot of time. And then in the next step, you can categorize all these ratings, all these reviews based on the sentiment and filter out all the keywords that are related to bad reviews, all the keywords that are related to good reviews, and get a better understanding about your ratings from the customers and about the related data so that you can, now we are back at what we mentioned at the beginning, so that you can make better decisions based on data insights that you wouldn't have seen before with your own naked eyes, because you're busy replying to all the reviews and you kind of really don't want to do it. You have better stuff to do than replying to customers who've already paid, right? That's the general mindset. That's one example. Personalized customer experience is a huge one, especially in e-commerce, right? Someone orders a product in a different manner of time, right? Every 2 months, every 3 months, and he also filled out a survey that he has some problems with his heart or something like this. Based on this information, or he can even to your online shop, he can connect his Apple Health, and based on all this data, you can suggest him proper supplements of your store based on his personal individual situation. And this personalized customer experience really make the competitive unfair advantage that Khalifa was talking about at the beginning, because then you're not just saying, okay, here's a wall, here are our products, 100 people come and let's see who buys. No, then it's really, okay, you have a shelf and you only have the products. Every single one only sees the products that are relevant to them. And this obviously really drives your conversion rate to some other levels.
Yeah, this is one of the most common low-hanging fruits in increasing revenue. And the beauty of this is it's in a way free, because you're already acquired the customer to come to your website or to your app. And now it's just, like Alex said, we improve the conversion rates by showing them something relevant to them. Kind of another example of doing something similar, we're right now building for a Dubai-based retail loyalty program, personalized promotions and awards. So basically, they're giving their loyalty customers awards and these kind of, what do you call it, promotion discounts on certain products and so on. And they have been doing it randomly. What we're doing now is we're learning from the users, from their behaviors, what are they buying, and everything we know about them. What is something that is actually interesting for them? And what we're seeing is, of course, they're opening the loyalty app a lot more. They're redeeming their points, and they're seeing the value of being members of this loyalty program, which of course will increase retention. And for this company who is kind of selling this loyalty program, it will be a lot easier for them to get more retail customers, because they can show from results that the clients are using the benefits, and it's bringing more traffic to them. So this is these two both are kind of, most companies that are doing anything with commerce can reap benefits from these.
Two more. Enhanced marketing and sales, improved customer service. I think improved customer service, everyone heard about chatbots, and now it's even more hyped. There has been a hype, but it was too early, I think, a few years ago. But now it's really in the headlines, especially in AI for customer service. Enhanced marketing and sales brings a lot of potential. It's huge. Just mentioning that these new functions, that you have a meeting, right? And the meeting is automatically transcribed, and the main points of the meeting are summarized, and then you get like personalized suggestion on what to discuss with the customer next, and so on. So this is NLP, natural language processing, right? Nothing else. And this tremendously helps people, again, making better decisions, because on insights they wouldn't have thought about, because they had like 10 meetings in a day and they were just overthinking stuff. And AI just says, okay, this is what we have talked about, summarized. You should do this next because of this information. And again, this is your competitive advantage, right? And I see a lot of companies building AI service solutions right now around this topic of sales optimization. And other companies like Zoom have already caught up or are at the forefront. We have the AI companion now in our meeting who's automatically summarizing everything. I can even talk to the AI companion and let him work with me, but it's a fast-paced market. And as you mentioned it before, in 2 years, it's probably too late. Enhanced supply chain management. If someone is here from the facility management space, or from the real estate space, or from the retail space, this would be a great example. I've personally worked with a bakery who had a lot of, in Austria, in Vienna, they had a lot of problems with their material orders. So they either ordered too much material or not enough material. Sometimes they sold too much, so nothing was left, and they missed out on revenue. Sometimes they had too much, and they missed out on selling. And the bread and the croissants they had in the shelf. So we actually help them predicting sales, okay, and help them optimize their orders for the material, and optimize the sales, so they can produce almost as much as they are predicting to sell. And this led to, I think it was like around 30% 30% cost reduction, right, in material ordering, which is huge for a bakery. This is again data insight and making better decisions. Okay, making the better decisions is a very superficial sentence, but if you get the background information, you can see what impact these better decisions have, and why you can really make better decisions with AI-based insights.
And this, just to add on top of that, it allows, for example, retailers to prevent food waste. For example, 30% of all the food produced in the world ends up in landfills, which is just a disgrace. And by knowing exactly how much people are going to buy bananas tomorrow, you know exactly how many cases of bananas to bring. So it's a very practical insight that just helps you operate your business better.
Yeah, that's true. We could talk hours about this, right? Let's mention a case study. It's an assembly company and also a relocation company in Austria. They had a lot of hustle with calculating the prices for relocations or calculating the prices for kitchens, because there are a lot of variables, a lot of information that is needed in order to define the price. We basically took all these variables, put them in a bot, right? And made the employee in the company just paste in all the information in the bot, and the bot gives them within seconds a proper price calculation and a predefined text. This text is sent out by email, and after that, the customer is called. Dear customer, you just sent us a request. What? It was only 20 minutes ago. Yeah, it was 20 minutes ago. Here's the offer. I guess you will accept the offer. Yes, we do. Thank you. And before it was a 2 hour, like back and forth conversation. Okay, I don't know what kind of price we should make. Let's call him. I want to make this price. No, but like we can charge more. We can charge less. And now it's streamlined down to 15 minutes, right? Or 20 minutes. And this saves a lot of time. If you only have like 3 offers a day, you can calculate from 6 hours to 45 minutes. You can save some employees or use these employees to work on more important tasks. This is in Austria. And now Khalifa mentioned some great use cases in the Middle East.
So yeah, the new IP is the first example. This is an automation, and we're using some generative AI here. New IP is basically a leading intellectual property. So they're dealing with IP applications, patent applications, stuff like this. They've basically been able to win market by where the competition usually takes 4 weeks to do a process. They've been able to do it in 2 weeks because they've kind of invested quite a lot of time and effort in making sure that their databases are up to base. So basically what their job often is let's say Alex here wants to file for a patent. He tells us what it would be, and then they do research and they find other kind of examples. Have these type of patents been filed? Were they successful? Were they not successful? Blah, blah, blah. Basically, what we're doing now is we're using a large language model and with embedding. So basically, we have a database of a lot of these patent applications. And of course, we know which ones were successful, which ones were not successful. And based on that, we fine-tune the model that, let's say, at this point, there is still a person who reviews everything, and could be that for a long time, it will not be end-to-end automated, but taking a process that they were able to shape to 2 weeks to now 2 hours to finish, just because the AI can handle, let's say, 85–90% of the job. So this AI solution basically creates a draft of a patent application, for example, or a patent violation note, or whatever legal document is in place, and then their experts just review it, and they, of course, they don't just get the application, but they get the references. So these were the 20 patent applications we used as examples, and so that they can kind of review and make sure that it all makes sense. But a very impactful case. And another one is dynamic pricing, which is kind of what Alex, you were talking about before, automatic pricing calculation. But this is in two scenarios. One is in Adidas in their direct to consumer when they're selling through their e-commerce. Basically, how dynamic pricing works is we're estimating demand, right? How much demand there is for these kind of shirts, for example. When there is a lot of demand, we know that we can add a small markup, let's say 3%, 5%, and people will still buy. In other cases, we can see that these kind of shirts are not selling. We have quite a lot of inventory. Let's reduce the price a little bit. Demand picks up and we get rid of the inventory before it gets old and we have to sell it with 80% off. Another case where we're doing this exactly same thing is a Saudi-based fintech, where I can't go into detail because this is still under NDA, but basically what they're offering to their clients is a monetary solution. Basically, you could think of it as a loan, and basically think of it as a platform where loans become available. There's a limited amount of those, and they come available, let's say, every Monday. So then people in Saudi Arabia who need a loan can go and buy one of these loan tickets that is out there. But it has a cost. Let's say you're getting $20,000 now, but you have to pay, let's say, $3,000 to get it. So that's kind of the cost for you. What we're doing is initially the same thing. We're predicting demand and understanding how many people today would be looking for these kind of loans. And then based on that, we know that we can add a markup to the price and they will still sell. And this is, of course, something that people often try to do manually. You know, you have a team meeting and you think, can we add 5% to the price? But when it comes from a machine learning model, and we give it a confidence score as well. So when the confidence score is over a certain threshold, they just publish the prices based on that. With Adidas, we were able to see 20% boost in GMV and 6% reduction in costs. So this is, again, anyone who has a e-commerce store, or if you're selling anything where the price fluctuates a little bit, this is a no-brainer, because otherwise you're just leaving money on the table. This is very famously, airline tickets have been doing this for a long time. A very, very, very useful use case that is easy to see returns.
Great connection for people who were wondering why the airline ticket is now $80 more expensive. It's all about demand and all about dynamic pricing. And you have been the target of a machine learning application, a machine learning algorithm. Thank you. Great use cases and great value that you've brought to these companies. So what are the practical steps to implementing AI? Is it like a file that I just download and save on my computer? Or is it like an application where I register? How does it work? I just made my mind up and try to like visualize a step-by-step process. When I asked myself the questions, okay, the question, where do I start? Okay, when I want to use AI in my business, and the fundament, right, of this whole journey of using AI in my company is business intelligence. If I have a clear understanding about my business, what are my challenges, my problems, what are my objectives, where do I stand financially, etc., I can go to the next steps. Yeah, what is my objective? Where do I want to go? Okay, I want to solve problem X first, because this is costing me a lot of resources right now, a lot of time, a lot of money, and it's a waste, and I know that, and I think this could be resolved. Then the next step is you have the AI expertise from a person, okay, internally, externally. You build a team internally, or you get the knowledge externally first, which is like the major way to do it. And then you sit together and see, okay, can this problem or what kind of problem can be solved with AI-powered solutions? And the next step is to define, okay, what kind of data do I need for that? Is this data already available, or do I need to create it, right? Do I need to find ways in order to capture this data and then use it in the next step? So you either start building a new source for the data that is needed, or you start using your historical data for the solution. Then you need a clear implementation timeline. Okay, we start with this small project, and this should be done in the next 4 weeks. In the next 4 weeks, this should be up and running in a test, in a sandbox environment. Then you have the performance metrics. What will define if this first small project was successful or not? What numbers tell me if this pilot project is successful, can be labeled as successful, or can be labeled as bad job, basically. And then you have this iterative adjustment, these small steps that will lead your company to solve more and more challenges with AI. And this is, I think, in my personal opinion, and please, Khalifa, also share your experiences with us. In my personal experience, this is exactly the opposite, right, of what is thought about when people talk about AI in business. When people talk about AI in business, mostly they talk about these huge projects that will change the whole world and also their company at the end, right? But this never works. This is doomed to fail. These kind of projects are doomed to fail. What really works is think big, but start very small and measure what you're doing. What do you say? What is your personal experience, Khalifa?
Yeah, 100%. And the thing that is interesting about this, that it doesn't start with the technology. The technology, in a way, comes at the very later stage. And that's the often kind of, at least I've seen some challenging situations where a company approaches us and they want to build something, and from the get-go I'm not sure if it makes sense, let's say. So sometimes it's difficult to kind of get people to take that one step back. Let's forget about technology for a while. Let's think about where is your business, for your business to grow, what needs to happen. And then we start taking steps towards technology later on. But yeah, and starting small, because the challenge with, if you start with a crazy big monolith project, is that it takes you so long to see results for it that usually they just get distracted or they start doing something else. Whereas when you start with these 4 to 6 week sprints and you deliver something, you see value, you can measure it, it's a win for everybody. And then with that confidence, it's much easier to then, okay, let's tackle the next thing and next thing and next thing. I like what you said. What was it? Think big but start small. Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it.
So I think we have this same terminology here. Khalifa and me, we are always talking about identify the low-hanging fruits and look for quick wins with AI. These quick wins are building confidence. These quick wins are enabling you to get a clear understanding what works and what doesn't work in AI, right? And these typical small applications like automating data entry, building a chatbot, a custom chatbot built on your individual company information, right? Or using AI for predictive maintenance, either from an existing platform like IBM or what was this other called, Procore, right? Or you use a low-code or no-code solution. It's up to you, but my personal experience is start with small projects, gain quick wins, And then you will understand how AI is really saving you time, especially when you write down the performance metrics that have to be watched, that have to be observed while you are executing the project. Because then you really understand, okay, a chatbot really saves me X amount of hours a month. This is X amount of money. This employee can now be used for another task or even another department, right? Same with automated data entry. So the value, the added value is really clear in these low-hanging fruit applications. It's like 1+1. It's really obvious what you get out of it. And that's why we are starting with these low-hanging fruits. Same goes for personalization, for lead scoring, and for NLP applications. I mentioned it before, getting out the sentiment out of customer reviews, out of customer ratings, understanding based on keyword categorization, what are the most reasons that customers are not satisfied with your service. This can be built really fast, and this can give you a really proper, again, unfair competitive advantage, because you can really grab the problems by the source and solve them pretty fast. If you are a business, right? If you are a hotel, and based on this NLP solution, for instance, you can identify immediately why 80% of the customers complain. You know what problem you need to tackle, right? And if you're doing your business right, this problem won't be around for a longer time, and you'll get better reviews, more revenue, and so on. This is the whole idea of grabbing the low-hanging fruits, because then your investment in this AI application is pretty fast. You get it back pretty fast. But about this topic of ROI, return of investment, I think this will be I will leave it to Khalifa, because he has prepared some slides for this. Let me just also mention the topic of overcoming implementation challenges. Again, a lot of people always are highlighting this. It's all about data availability and quality. We mentioned it before. If you don't have the data, let's make sure we will get the data. If you have the data, let's make sure it's clear and there are no informations in the data which may interfere with the outcome of your AI application, because they're not relevant, right? So that's it basically. Really easily said. And then the technical skills and resources. I've seen some companies who are trying to build an AI team firsthand without having any expertise at all in their company, and they failed pretty fast. So my personal recommendation really is get the expertise from outside, take some employees in your company, make them responsible for AI implementation, pay courses for them, make sure they are trained on this topic, and over a period of 1 or 2 years, you can slowly build your in-house team. But it's not recommended to do it straight away. You're probably going to drive against the wall. It's a German phrase. I don't know if you can say it in English. Integration with legacy systems. A lot of CRMs or ERPs have a lot of restrictions when it comes to the implementation. So you really have to be familiar with the technical documentation. You maybe often have to talk to their technical team in order to make sure that your solution goes hand in hand with the other solution. And that's why, again, we start with low-hanging fruit solutions where you don't have this topic. Because if you're at this point where you have to have a call few times a week with the technical team or with CRM, it can be really frustrating, right? And we want to avoid this in the very beginning. And the last but not least thing is change management. You really want to make sure that the people in the company that are responsible and the other colleagues have the mindset that AI is really helping them. So my personal recommendation is make sure that you have an in-house workshop, for instance, where the people are really understanding the value of AI for your business, for them personally, as an employee for your company, and everyone sits on the same in the same boat, and then you won't have problems implementing AI in your company. If you're dealing with like 10 other colleagues who don't really want to use AI because they still have the misconception that it will eradicate their job and some other misconceptions, then it will be a hard time for you. So the first thing is make sure you're all on the same page, and then it will be a smooth ride into another competitive advantage of your company. Have I missed something, Khalifa?
No, I think no, I think you touched upon. I would maybe say that just the data quality and availability is kind of, I tend to link it with the change management. What I mean by this is it's really important that everybody understands how valuable this data can be. And in my experience, the best way is to simply kind of clearly communicate the use cases to how we can optimize marketing and how much we can increase revenues by, like you said, good recommendations. But to do that, we need to really understand the behavior and thoughts of our customers. And to do that, we need this data. So that's something to kind of take into consideration.
Great. Importance of establishing a clear process. Okay, it's again about measuring the performance at the end of the day. It's all about, if you have a clear process, I've often seen it, if you don't really write down where you start, where you want to end, and where your specific milestones are, people will get confused. People have different, and this is very heavy, people have different expectations, right? Then they are disappointed, and then it doesn't end well in general, right? So you really have to define a clear process with clear expectations, with clear objectives, so everyone is on the same page and everyone knows the advantages of defining this implementation plan with all these milestones. What's also important is, if you have this process over a timeline, and I wrote it down here, point scalability, other people can be onboarded pretty fast, right? Because it's not a mess, but it's a clear structure, and everyone knows what has to be done with AI in your company. Okay, customer satisfaction, employee engagement. Of course, if the employees see that the company is working professionally, they're happy to engage in this process. Better communication, of course, this is the key part in building AI projects. If the project manager, if the business owner, if the one who's executing, who's using this application on a day-to-day basis, if they all have different information or different expectation or different, and that's really important, different opinions on how to do it, it's pretty hard to reach your goals then, right? So you have to make sure that you are all on the same page, that you all have the same opinion on what you want. And if you do this, success is pretty much programmed. Yeah. Would you like to add something to this? Would you like to add something to these two slides?
No, not really.
I mean, it's pretty obvious, but I don't know if it's only obvious to me because I'm dealing with this day to day. Yeah, that's why I just wanted to ask you if you want to add something to this.
Yeah, no, because these are really good points, and I like what you said about managing expectations, especially when you're dealing with people who have no technical background, is very important. Because like you mentioned many times, people see AI as a magic tool. And I like to say we can create magical experiences that feel like magical, but it's really
Yeah.
not magic. So then they're
Yeah.
sometimes disappointed when you tell them that, well, we need data to be able to do that. So
Yeah.
that's really important, I think.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, best practices for incorporating AI into your business operations. I just marked something here. We will also publish an AI business transformation guide. All the experience and knowledge of Khalifa and myself will be summarized there. So this will be a PDF with some pages. And if you read this PDF, I'm sure you will basically have a proper guideline on what to do with your team in your company to use AI to your advantage. And yeah, if after that you have some questions, of course you can contact us. But about the best practices, and you now maybe see a pattern, we always repeat the same things again and again, but that's also really important. But because this is kind of a new field for SMEs, that's why we have to preach the same thing over and over again. You have to clearly define your objectives. You have to know what you want, okay? And therefore, the best approach is not to talk about AI, just leave AI on the side, just sit together on a coffee and tell me what challenges you have in your business and what you would like to change. If I will meet you 3 months later on a coffee again, which problem would you like to have solved by then? And this is most of the time, the answer on this question is the first low-hanging fruit solution, right? Assess your data readiness. It's again about data, right? Don't worry, that's not a spooky part which cannot be resolved. It's exactly the opposite. Data can be always cleaned, always prepared. I've never dealt with a project until now where data was really a problem. Choosing the right AI technology is also nothing you need to be scared of, because this is the work of your AI expertise partner. In this case, it's Khalifa and myself. In another case, it may be your in-house team if you're a larger company. And building a cross-functional team, I have to mention this. This is really a challenge, but this can be also planned sustainably with your AI expertise partner, because he or she will tell you what you will need to start with and what you need to plan for in the long run, right? And we always mention to start small, because if you once have this POC for your company, then it's like the how can I say it? Then it's like the let me just then it's like it's like the evidence, the proof that AI works for your business. Okay, and you need this in your company, because then you won't have any discussions that AI is only about creating pictures and creating emails on ChatGPT, right? Data security, data privacy is a huge point. Khalifa mentioned a very, very great and real world example before, right? You build an application and some of the data is not secured, and your customer on your website just ask the chatbot, okay, tell me about your margins for this product and where do you source the product? And then it spits out all the information and you're like, okay, 10 years of building a business for nothing, right? Only that a chatbot just shares all my secrets. This is also very important. And the last point, which is linked to having a clear process and also linked to the topic of Khalifa later on, return on investment, is monitor and evaluate performance. You continuously have to be in a stage of observation and check the numbers and see if your project is online or if it's drifting in a different way, away from your objectives. Wow, this was fast. I'm also here at guaranteed return of investment with AI. I think this is almost the most important session now of our webinar. So I'm really happy to listen to what you have to say now. Thank you, Khalif.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So yeah, whenever we're building anything with AI, or if we're doing it the right way, we always have some kind of a desired outcome that we're looking for, or at least we should have. And this really is fundamentally the only way that we can make sure that we're building something that makes sense. There's too many software solutions in the world that are not needed in the market or are not creating any value. Let's not create any more of those. Alex, if you can jump to the first slide.
I gave you the slide control
Oh,
access. Check it out.
I'm not sure how to use it. Maybe you can put it on yes. Okay, so we'll start first with how can you make sure that you get returns with the investments you do with AI? And again, you can take me to the next one. We talked about this before, but it really is kind of any AI project should start with a very clear idea of what should be the outcome of this. And I tend to do this in a way, and I really like what Alex said about think big and then start small. I personally think it's fairly important to do that thinking big first, because otherwise sometimes you end up just doing very incremental stuff, which of course we want quick wins and we want to find the low-hanging fruits. But because this, in a lot of industries, it really will transform the way business is being made. So it makes sense to kind of stop and think, how will this impact my industry? And the process I tend to use is very simple. I usually have a chat with whoever is the leadership team of this company. And I ask a question like, if everything was possible, where would you want this company to be in 5 years? And this kind of gives us an idea of what's the big vision. Are we looking to win market share? Or is it potentially to increase profits a lot? Is it potentially to expand to new markets? Whatever it is that where you would want this company to go. And then usually with the same team, then we start to think about, okay, what would need to happen for that to be a reality? What, in practical terms, what would need to happen for that to become a reality? It could be that, well, for us to become the market leader, we would need to acquire 100,000 new customers. And then we can look into, okay, for that to be a reality, what does it cost for us now to acquire one customer? It costs, let's say, $100, and then quickly we can calculate, okay, we would need $10 million to acquire 100,000 new customers. So it's not feasible. So this gives us then clues of where we might want to focus with AI. So that's usually my starting point. Is I'm looking for challenges, and not only like in my experience, it doesn't give you good results if you ask what are the challenges you have, because we tend to start with the surface level, but it really helps to first think that where would we want this company to go, and that what might prevent us from getting there. And then I tend to look at it bottom up as well. So people who are very kind of hands-on. So if it is a retail company, I would love to talk with someone in the store and understand, maybe someone who's dealing with the inventory, or people who are hands-on, and just understand what's taking their time. And from their point of view, if we want to reach the outcome that we let's say we want to become the market leader and we need to serve 100,000 new customers, what will need to happen with operations for that to be a possibility? Because it could be that if nothing else changes, we have to hire 1,000 new people, which then might make none of this make sense anymore. So then, okay, we'll need to find efficiencies, and where can we find the bottlenecks? So that tends to be my starting point. And this makes you think big. But then, like Alex, you pointed out, if you then try to implement that, most likely you'll waste a year without results, and confidence starts to shake. Then you start to think, does this make any sense, and so on. So what you should do after kind of this, and by the way, what I'm talking about can be done in 2 hours, so it doesn't have to be weeks of research. But what you have to do then is prioritize really well. So I use a very simple X and Y matrix where I assess every opportunity that we've identified, how much value could it increase in terms of, and this is where I assess or like to assign like a dollar sign or a dirham sign to this. If we expect that this could increase revenues, how much? If we accept that this could save time, how much time can it save? If we expect that we can add the markup to the price, how much could that be? If we expect that we can acquire customers with a smaller price, what would be the target customer acquisition cost? So set a number on what would be the value of this, and then we estimate how much time and effort and money has to be spent to actually building this. Now, of course, you have your low-hanging fruits that are very low on the effort, so they're cheap to do, but create quite a bit of value. They, of course, make sense, and we always try to find one of these in the beginning in 4 weeks to create something that creates value, so that we get that quick win. But then you want to also think about more strategic things. So again, if we want to become the market leader in 5 years, there might be some big initiatives that we need to do. Of course, we can try to chop them into pieces so that we get increments of value along the journey. But this is how I would always kind of, for you to make sure that you actually get returns on the investment you make, is that dream big and then find areas to start small. And always, as you're doing the prioritization, you have to have a clear idea of what will happen if we do this. I would never, by the way, I would never do any AI project if I don't have a clear number. What's the targeted outcome? Then Alex, if you would be so kind to jump to the next slide, and next
Sure.
slide, we start to talk about
slide. Okay.
how can we measure and optimize.
Okay.
And where we kind of left off, we should start with the impact first. So any project should start with, if we do this, even if it's a small thing, we do it in 4 weeks, or it's something that takes 2 months to create, what's the outcome? It could be that the outcome is that we can, with some level of confidence, estimate demand. But that's not good enough. We need to understand, well, okay, what will that give us? If we're able to estimate demand, what will that mean? Then it means that maybe we don't lose inventory anymore because it doesn't spoil. Or maybe we can make sure that we have enough people to match the demand. Maybe it could be that we need to have enough supply to match the demand so that we don't sell out. But I would always kind of try to assign a number to it. And often it is, how might we increase revenue, create efficiencies, or improve the customer experience in some way? Customer experience improvements could be either a process that takes a few weeks, can be shaved into a day, or it could be that a process that from your customer took 8 clicks and quite a bit of brain power to compete can actually now be done with a few exchanges in a chat interface or something like this. But I would always kind of have a very clear picture. The whole team understands if we do this and if we do it successfully, this is what will happen. So then you know what you need to measure, and then this might sound crazy or like a no-brainer, but a lot of times I see projects being implemented without a clear goal. It's just that let's build a recommendation engine.
Yeah.
But if you don't know what should be the outcome of that, most likely there will not be an outcome at all. Because you don't know what to optimize. You don't even know when you've succeeded or not. So when you have that in mind, you start with impact, then you need to use the right metrics. And I like to think a metric should be directly linked to the desired outcome. So if we want to increase revenues, for example, it could be the metric that we follow could be conversion rates on the website, which leads to revenue increase. And if you're not sure what is a feasible target, what is a smart target, then try to use benchmarks. So if you're working with someone who's done this before, they will have benchmarks to tell you that on a previous customer, we reached 20% increase, or we were able to shave this much time. If you don't have that, then you can try to Google and find some case studies. Someone else has done something similar to get an idea of what's possible. Then thirdly, you should try to make sure that your team is focused on that return and or that metric that creates those returns. And I would always try to incentivize the team somehow. So when they reach that goal, they get rewarded somehow. And if you are partnering with someone like Alex or myself or my company, I often have skin in the game. So, for example, when we're doing, let's say, a dynamic pricing project, I like to work in a model where if we're able to increase the revenues, we get a certain cut of that. That's the kind of the perfect kind of case for me. So then if there's no impact, there's no gains for us as well. To me, that's very fair game. But yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell how I would make sure that there's returns. Firstly, again, it's a no-brainer, but just make sure that you as the owner of the company or the leader and whoever is implementing this, they all know that what do we want to see as an outcome. It all starts with that, and then use the right metrics to measure it.
My personal question is ROI always automatically a topic with your customers? I think that's also very important to the ones who are watching this webinar live now or later as a recording. Is it always automatically a topic that is addressed by the customer, or are you coming up with the structure of ROI?
Yeah, no, it's surprisingly it's not. So of course sometimes it is, but a lot of times it is not. But on every case I bring it to the table because I think that's the I'm all about impact. I want to see results, and it really is the case that if we don't have a very clear target or what kind of returns we're trying to get, you don't get results, and then it's not very satisfactory to the customer or to me and to my team. So surprisingly, it's not something that always comes from the customer side. Sometimes we have to bring it up. What's your experience?
My experience is that it's never mentioned. Yeah, so same. It's never mentioned, but I talk about it from the very first moment because I want to provide this transparency to the customer in order to make sure that he understands the ins and outs and already and also the impact of his investment in the near future. And
I honestly, for me, it's why I bring it up is because sometimes because often clients, and I'm being very transparent. Often clients have this idea that, hey, let's integrate ChatGPT and it will solve all our problems and it will cost $20 a month. And then sometimes building these things can cost tens of thousands of dollars. So then to justify that, we have to kind of set the target that, okay, this will cost you $40,000, but will make you $80,000 in the next 18 months or something like this. That should be the target. Then it feels like a no-brainer again.
Great. Yeah, Q&A session. We don't have a lot of attendees here, but I think this will be very valuable content for YouTube and for social media in general. Yeah, we have 2 attendees. If they have a question, they can raise the question now, and we're happy to answer the question. If not, we can just continue talking about practical AI applications in general for business. So the key takeaways, what are the key takeaways here? The key takeaways that we have addressed is think big, start small. So aiming high, but starting with smaller, manageable projects to build momentum and to learn from experiences. A hunt for the fast and small wins experience over immediate success, right? So these incremental victories to gain experience, to build confidence are way more important instead of having immediate success. And also, right, it's the most important, one of the most important things, define your goals clearly and understand your business objectives before you start kicking off this idea of using AI. Build an AI team. Again, my personal recommendation is take external AI expertise and then build up your internal team and stick to a timeline, okay? If you want to go for the, again, low-hanging fruit, stick to a clear timeline, set up a clear process, and make sure that your journey is documented very transparently. Have I missed something, Khalifa? You're very, you always have some good input. That's why I just wanted to take the chance to ask you.
No, these key takeaways are perfect. Yeah, nothing to add. I fully agree with everything you just said.
Great. So for everyone who's watching this live or later on social media, the attendees will receive later on an AI implementation canvas and an AI business transformation guide. Khalifa and myself are still working on this, but this is a pretty good material that you should use later on in order to start using AI power solutions in your business. And we're also always happy to help you if you have some questions while reading through the guide or while using the canvas. You can always hit us up, and we are really happy to support you, to help you. I also wanted to talk about my Simple AI newsletter. I'm writing on a practical AI newsletter on LinkedIn, where you get a weekly insight into how to use AI for your business. And don't worry, all the links are either now sent out on LinkedIn or will be shared in the YouTube description. If you have any interest in having a one-to-one conversation, you can hit us up on Calendly directly, either Khalifa or myself, and we are happy to help you in your journey with AI. I also linked the Shaper website. This is the website of Khalifa and his business in Dubai. He's serving all the MENA customers. I'm serving all the customers in the German market, in the European Union, but we are like a joint venture collaboration, and he's supporting me a lot, and I also try to help wherever I can. That being said, thank you for your attention. Thank you, Khalifa, for your valuable insights, for your valuable input. I'm really convinced that everyone who has watched this presentation really has learned a lot and is prepared to start with the implementation of AI-powered solutions in their business. Do you want to add something?
I wanted to say thank you, Alex, for having me. It was a really nice chat. And I would just remind everyone that kind of the time really is now. So at least you should kind of go through what could this mean for your business. I think both me and Alex were happy to help facilitate that thought process with you. Doesn't mean that you have to do anything with it. Sometimes, like Alex, you mentioned before, it could be that it's not actually relevant for you. But I think anyone who's on the board of a company or on the leadership position in a company, in a way, I would even say it's your responsibility to make sure you understand what AI could mean for your company. Because if you don't do it, most likely your competition will, and then you'll be just left behind. So at least have the clarity to see what's possible.
Okay, and again, our website isn't published yet, but your website was
XYZ.
XYZ. So everyone who has listened to this, please type it in and check out the website of my colleague Khalifa. And thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you soon in a one-to-one call.